Here today on GTA 5 car reviews we have one of the most ignored and undervalued cars in GTA 5, the Vapid Bullet. What we intend to find out is whether it is worthy of being ignored, or whether actually there is a secret talent here waiting to be recognised and that it's completely ignored by most. Let's find out whether this is a good car or whether it's worthy of being ignored. Let's go and see on GTA 5 car reviews. First of all, let's go over the statistics of our Vapid Bullet. Let's discuss the engine. It's a 6-litre V10 that has 550 horsepower, which isn't really as many horsepower if you compare it to other cars such as an Entity or an Infernus or an Adder. But it does make fairly good use of its relatively small amount of horsepower. It will go from 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds, which again isn't the best acceleration, but it's not bad either. The Entity only does it a little faster, so yeah, that's one of the really high-end supercars. It has a top speed of 210 miles an hour, which is the same speed as a Grotti Turismo, one of the most favourite cars in Grand Theft Auto 5. Let's go and look at the styling of this car. My first opinion is it's very retro. It's quite sort of old-fashioned looking, but that's the idea. Apparently Vapid based this car on 1960s racing cars, so that's the idea. It's supposed to look quite retro and old-fashioned. The engine noise sounds quite old-fashioned too. It's not that exotic howl that you get in an Entity or the growl of a Pegassi. It's a relatively quiet engine. This looks like quite a good car though. Let's go on to the price. The price of this car is going to really surprise you. It's only $150,000, which makes it one of the cheapest cars, one of the cheapest supercars in GTA 5. The only supercar cheaper is a Coral Baltic at, I think it's $100,000 or something like that. But anyway, $150,000 really isn't much when you compare it to the other supercars. Let's go and see what the handling is like and the top speed. The first test we're going to do is to see how fast we can go down a straight in our Vapid Bullet. Let's see what the acceleration, the speed and the brakes are like. Let's go and test out the acceleration and the top speed of this Vapid Bullet. Okay, let's floor it off the line and see what happens. A tiny bit of wheel spin because it is rear wheel drive, but nothing really that will cause a problem. Try and not take too many curves so that we keep speed high and don't lose too much speed. Approaching top gear and brake. We can see that its brakes are quite good and it's pretty fast also, although it would take it slightly longer to reach its top speed than something like a Turismo or an Infernus, but yeah, this is still very fast and it's not sluggish at all. The next test we're going to do is going to be a cornering test. Let's see how this Vapid Bullet takes corners. Let's see if there will be any understeer or any oversteer. To test out how the Vapid Bullet steers, I've taken it to one of the bendiest, most punishing roads in GTA 5. Let's see how it takes really tight corners. Let's see if it will oversteer or understeer. There's a tight corner coming up in a minute. Let's see, with sweeping bends like this there's no problem at all. Let's try a tighter corner. Oh yeah, no understeer. Remember, like with all cars, you can't floor it round the corner because then it will just crash no matter how good the steering is. So do use the brakes with any car no matter how good the steering. But yeah, so far this is showing no understeer at all. The steering is responsive without being twitchy. And if you push it too hard, it doesn't seem to want to slide too much. So far this has got very good steering. Even then when you put the power off and then on again, there's no inclination to slide. Yep, this Vapid Bullet has got very good steering indeed. I would say even as good as a Turismo's, if such a thing is possible. Yep, well, on the cornering test, even on this tightest of roads, it's done very, very, very well. So far, this is shaping up to be a very wonderful car. You may be wondering what this car is like to slip and slide around, and that's the next test we're going to do. We're going to see what the Vapid Bullet is like as a drifting car. Let's see how sideways we can get it, and let's test how trustworthy it will be. Let's see how much slippery, slidey fun we can have with our Vapid Bullet. First of all, we'll try and use the brakes, then we'll go into power, and then we'll see what it's like as a handbraking car. Let's come up to a corner like this one here. Let's see what happens if you drift it with the brakes. Wow, that is very good at drifting with the brakes. Let's try again here. Yep, it's quite tail happy once you want it to be. Let's try again with brakes. Yep, it loves sliding with the brakes. What you do is squeeze the brakes and floor it as you come in. You can keep the throttle on, but then use opposite lock to control the slide. And it really, you know, there isn't much inclination to spin out at all. Let's see what happens if we can use power. Let's see if it will slide with power. Yep, it will slide with power as well. All you have to do is turn it hard and then put the throttle on, and it will slide. And again, you can use opposite lock to control it, and you can generally keep the power on and it won't spin out on you. What a friendly car. What an exciting, fun car as well. Let's do some more brake. Yep, this is quite a tail-happy car when you want it to be. We'll see what happens if we use handbrake. Wow, that was amazing. This is very good at handbraking. Wow. Again, as always, a little tap of handbrake, and then use the brakes and opposite lock to control it. It does like handbraking. Wow, this is one of the best drifting cars I've ever had. It will drift in every way possible. It will drift using the brakes, the power and the handbrake, and it excels in all three different categories. This is a very, very good car to drift. Very trustworthy as well. There isn't much chance of it spinning out on you, as long as you put the right opposite lock on. Now it's time to see how fast the Vapid Bullet will go around our racetrack, and then we'll go and put its time on the leaderboard. Let's see where it will stand among the other cars we've tested so far. Let's go and find out. Let's go and see just how quickly we can do a lap in this Vapid Bullet. A little bit of wheel spin off the line because it is rear wheel drive. As always, we're going to see if we can take the corners on the most inside possible for a quicker lap time. It's absolutely eating up these corners because it is really a very good car. The handling and the steering are very, very, very good. This is a very friendly car. You don't need to wrestle it at all. You just get in it and drive it. And use the brakes here for this 90-degree turn. A little bit of tyre squeak, but no drifting. We can see if we can get it up to top speed now on this straight. Degree turn to the left coming up. Coming around the last corner now, sweeping bend, and there'll be the finish line. There it is, and across the line. And it did it in 1 minute 25.840. We'll put that up on the leaderboard in a minute. And here on the leaderboard we can see the Vapid Bullet's time, 1 minute 25.840. As you can see, it's drastically slower than the other cars I've tested, but that's to be expected because it has the worst acceleration out of any of them, although the overflot entity isn't that far off acceleration wise, but as we can see it has a much better time. So we can see it's not as fast as other cars, but that's not really a problem because handling wise it's brilliant. Sure, you know, not as fast, but for driving fun, it is just as fun as any of these cars. Now it's time to end with a conclusion. What do I think about this car? Is it worth being ignored, or is there a hidden talent under here? Well, I think there is a hidden talent. I really don't know why people ignore this car as much as they do. It really is unbelievably fantastic. I really can't see why people think this is a rubbish car with terrible handling or it's slow. It's not. It's fast, it has relatively good acceleration, and the handling is brilliant. I don't think that a Grotti Turismo R would be able to out-handle this car. I think this has as good a handling as one of those, and that's saying a lot. This really is a very underappreciated car, and if people just drove it a little more, they'd see how brilliant it really was. I think this car is absolutely fantastic. Until next time, I'm Scorery Nightfall on GTA 5 Car Reviews.